The Organization Leadership and Development Network exists to facilitate leading-edge insight and practice in OD through OD-informed publication, the provision of a platform for information exchange, a forum for debate on organization leadership and development issues, and a network of emerging and existing OD professionals. The network promotes competency-based networking, education, and collaboration in organization leadership and development. Welcome to the OLD and Global OD Leadership and Governance News Bulletin. I am your anchor, Blessing Dolo, broadcasting live from the OLD and TV studios. First the headlines and then the news in full. COLD signed an affiliation agreement with ISODC. Action Learning and Social Learning activities started for COLD Cohort 3 Professional Certification. ISODC Fall 2020 newsletter has been published. African Intellectual Resource Organization to unveil the Aero Leadership Institution. Pan-African A Conference 2020 to be held in October 2020. And now the news in full. The Center for Organization Leadership and Development completed the affiliation agreement with International Society for Organization Development and Change. The affiliation agreement specifies 5 articles covering cooperation, mutual consultation, reciprocal representation, benefits and responsibilities of each party, and general administration. Dr. Justin Chinyo-Perekwe, CEO of Center for Organization Leadership and Development, spoke about the affiliation agreement.
We recently signed the affiliation agreement with the International Society for Organization Development and Change, ISODC, and this is a milestone to our evolution as a professional certification and membership body with a global focus to transform the way professionals interact and relate with each other. We have worked with ISODC for the past 6 months, and we appreciate the support that we have received from them as an international organization that is founded on the principles of OD and leadership. And we continue to work with ISODC in embedding the principles of OD, the principles of leadership and good governance. As the Center for Organization Leadership and Development, we continue to strive to evolve as a professional organization that pushes the agenda and mission of everything that we serve. We sincerely appreciate this affiliation agreement, and we continue to work on other affiliations that enable us to remain a professional body and continue to deliver quality service to those we deal with. Thank you.
The consultation session for the support of women members in Afghanistan were held on September 13th. Ms. Maureen Omwebe led the session, highlighting 5 cardinal points for this project. Ms. Maureen emphasized the need for conversation to understand the issue facing women in the country, developing interventions to reach out to women, psychological empowerment of women, marketing the potentials of women, and highlighting the examples of what women can do. The session was attended by Mr. Hassan Tawakoli, OLDN International Director for Afghanistan, and Dr. Justin Chinyo-Perekwe.
Psychological empowerment of the Afghan women. The women are women that have been in an environment of war for too long. OD is not going to, our network is not going to neglect the fact that these women have been traumatized. Their normal social development, social relations, social existence has been truncated and interrupted by wars and scenes of wars. So we are going to give them what we call psychological empowerment, to bring them back to normal persons, to bring them back to a point where they will be thinking about ambitions, thinking about hopes for themselves and for their children, thinking about even negotiating, dialoguing with their husbands or the circle of the members of their families on their true position. Because that's whatever capacity we are going to build in the Afghan women using OD, we have to be sure that the women can assimilate it. We have to be sure that they can expunge it. We have to be sure that they have the capacity to take it in. And it will start from psychological empowerment. Of course, the OD had already defined and developed a very suitable curriculum. But we are flexible network, and we can always craft something in our conversations to trigger or ignite discussions along this path. What is it that can give a woman confidence, comportment, and composure to come outside and say, hey, this is what I want, in presence of her husband, in presence of her children, and in presence of maybe her community leaders that would never want to hear her voice. So that is the number one.
Speaking at the same session, Mr. Tawakowili reiterated that women in Afghanistan has immense potential to drive socio-economic development in the country and globally.
Right, we have many potential here in Afghanistan. We have many prominent women working in politics, and they have their high rank position in a government, and we have to reach out those women, and we have to ask them to join to such a OLDN group.
Yes.
And work, and to be advocate for the women, and to be supportive to the women, and to be voice of the woman in public.
Emphasizing the need for women and training development, Mrs. Zamina and Mrs. Shakiba supported the initiative and had this to say about the OLDN Women Capacity Building Initiative in the country.
This is a very good idea, and I hope this idea once we can do leading to the all women that they should know about their rights, and they know their right, and they especially the woman who and Kabul, because Kabul is there's some women which they reached their life, and which is education, and the 50% they know their rights. But in the province we have a lots of problem. The women don't have right to study or to know their rights. I hope we have some training or some program in the province for the women to they improve their knowledge about their right and their priority of the life, and they know they should understand as a human what's their right, and they should know their basic rights as a human. That's very good idea. I'm supporting, and if I can do everything, I will do to help this.
It's really nice discussion. I love it. For my perspective, I think women are in the stage to benefit the overall societies. Actually, we can do that. The woman contribution in the woman economic, social, and political part will be very important to strengthen the woman role in Afghanistan. Actually, we do have aim to how to promote the woman. We do have the purpose, and we want to reach to the woman, and we all want to have the woman to have their role in the society, in the country. But actually, what I meant to say, the mechanism is really important. Which mechanism would be required to actually we can run this program. Actually, we can reach to those women, which is really beneficial for the society. We do have many women in the parliament, in the best positions.
The Center for Organization Leadership and Development started delivery of Cohort 3 Professional Certification in OD Leadership on the 1st of September 2020. The current cohort has learners from Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Afghanistan. Participating students expressed gratitude after attending a session on the first module titled Personal and Professional Development Plan, Effective Use of Self and OD Practitioner. During the COLDC session, Dr. Justin Chinyaparoka, the lead facilitator, emphasized the need for OD practitioners to change agents and leaders to be authors of a novelty, advocates for sustainable development, agents of change, arbiters in the event of tension, and ambassadors of relationship practice. The International Society of Organization Development and Change released the Fall 2020 newsletter with reflection from the ISODC virtual conference. The newsletter also covers open letter from ISODC International Board member Richard E. with reflection from his life and his journey with organization development. The ISODC Fall newsletter makes reference to two neat upcoming events as follows. The Professional Certificate in Cultural Competence classes, which begins on October 1st. The ISEOR conference this October 8th and 9th in Lyon, France. The Organization Leadership and Development Network will be facilitating the following two events. The changing roles of HR in the post-COVID-19 era, transitioning to transforming corporate environment on September 26, 2020. Organization development and the use of self on October 10th. On September 30th, Kairos Business Services Limited Director and OLDN member Babatunde Fajimi will be hosting the Babatunde Salawu, Managing Director of Mindshifters Business Solutions and OLDN member, through a webinar titled Personal Growth, Managing Midlife Crisis. African Intellectual Resource Organization will be unveiling the Aero Leadership Institute on October 3rd through the Aero virtual platform. Aero Leadership Institute is an African-centered leadership institute whose leadership training is an integral part of one of the pillars of Aero's, these: technology and renewable energy, health and sports development, economic and agriculture, science, environment and culture, and education and vocational development, while addressing current leadership challenges across all societies in Africa and with a goal to build an extraordinary future. The launch will be held under the Aero Leadership Program titled Aero Leadership Development for the African We Want. Effective leadership built on values, ethics, and service. Regina Herber, Deputy Director and the head of Aero Leadership Institute, spoke about the institute.
Hi, I'm Regina Huber, founder and CEO of Transform Your Performance. I'm a multicultural transformational leadership coach and consultant. I'm also an inspirational speaker and author. My role at IRO is Deputy Director for Education and Head of Leadership Institute. The IRO Leadership Institute unites several passions of mine. My passion for co-creation and my passion for leadership. Not any kind of leadership, but ethical, visionary, inclusive, and transformational leadership, which is driven by a new consciousness that recognizes that leadership always must be in the service of those we lead. Why did I join IRO? Well, that's because of my love for Africa. The truth is, the entire world needs improved leadership. So I'm particularly delighted that we are starting this critical leadership upgrade in Africa and for Africans through the IRO Leadership Institute. Join us for our inspiring and content-rich launch event on October 3rd, 2020, when we will be unveiling the IRO Leadership Institute and will have some highly acclaimed keynote speakers on the program as well. See you there.
The Organization Leadership and Development Quarterly will be publishing its 2020 fourth issue during the first week of October 2020. The upcoming edition covers the OLDN professional member model and leadership articles. The editorial purpose of OLDQ is to share and ignite insightful conversations, enhance knowledge, skills, and application, and strengthen synergies among OD professionals and organizations. Reflection is a prerequisite to transformational presence. The OLDN member impact influence reflection self-assessment period opened on September 20th and will close on October 10th. During this period, OLDN member will complete self-assessment in line with continuing personal and professional development activities targeted at checking the celebration of mediocrity and fetishization of irrelevance in professional practice. OLD and CPD assessors will be reviewing the members' submissions and provide development feedback. iPerformance Africa will be hosting the Pan-African E-Conference 2020 from the 12th to the 17th of October 2020. The HRE conference will be held under the theme, Transforming HR Practice for the Future of Africa. The Pan-African E-Conference will cover 5 tracks with presentations from over 60 HR and OD practitioners. To end this news, a recap on our headlines. COLD signed an affiliation agreement with ISODC. Action learning and social learning activities started for COLD Cohort 3 Professional Certification. ISODC Fall 2020 newsletter has been published. African Intellectual Resource Organization to unveil the AERO Leadership Institute. Pan-African E-Conference 2020 to be held in October 2020. Please visit the OLDN TV, Center for Organization Leadership and Development, ISODC, Higher Thinkers Global, DB Consulting, Business Growth Incubation Center, BeamTrack Consulting, and other affiliate social pages to learn more about the field we represent. This news bulletin was brought to you by OLDN TV, disseminating OD, leadership, and governance information globally. Once again, I am your anchor, Blessing Dono, broadcasting live from the OLDN TV. Stay tuned in for the next edition. Thank you.